folks, and welcome to Monday's edition of Magoo Sports News. Now, unfortunately, I was away for the weekend and I never got to see any sport at all. Bit of a problem for Magoo because obviously when you do a sports program you need to be watching sport all the time, but it's not a problem because I've read all the reports, I've watched all the highlights show, so now I'm back up to speed and I know everything about sport as you'd expect from Magoo. Now, before I start the show today, I'd like to give a little mention to Boom. He basically gave me a shout out in email and said he loved the show, so thanks for the compliment. And this guy supports Dundee United, so they're now my second favourite team behind Inverness Caledonian Thistle, and I'll give those guys a shout out or a mention on every show I do. Thank you very much, and now I'll get on with the show. So folks, what sort of weekend did we have in the sporting world? It was an absolutely fantastic weekend, so I'm so disappointed I missed it, but not a problem, I'll have a chat about it instead. Firstly, the Copa America. Couple of big results again in the Copa America. Brazil could only muster a 2-2 draw with Paraguay, and they were lucky to do that because they scored an equaliser in the 89th minute. I mean, I read the report on this one and basically Paraguay looked the better team at parts. I know Brazil were all over them, they went 1-0 up. Apparently second half they came out with such an attacking formation that it cost them dearly. Paraguay scored a couple of goals, went 2-1 up, and then it took a Fred goal in the 89th minute to equalise. So basically that was very, very lucky for them. Uruguay and Chile drew 1 apiece, not too much of a problem. They can both win their last games and go through, and Peru beat Mexico. Not much of a result there because it means that basically Peru and Mexico, doesn't matter the results, if they both lose in the next game they're out. So moving on, friendly, Livingston played Inverness Caledonian Thistle and it was a 1-1 draw. Now apparently Inverness Caledonian Thistle are struggling with injuries. Got a few of them coming up, so hopefully we can get a few of the guys fit for the start of the season. A bit of news about football as well. Modric has come out and said that the chairman of Tottenham Hotspur, Daniel Levy, had a gentleman's agreement with him that if he signed a new long-term deal, which is the one I was talking about in my previous show, till 2016, then he would let him go if any big offers came in for him. So basically, he's not happy. He's going to probably end up not playing his best for the club, which means the club will now have to consider selling him, which is this whole merry-go-round of club versus player. Another bit of news, Wenger has announced the signing of Gervinho. This guy's from the Ivory Coast. He signed him from Lille, but he's internationally from the Ivory Coast. I remember him at the World Cup last year. Thought to myself, I mean, the commentators said he was the next best thing. I thought to myself, when he's playing, he's not that good. So when Arsenal were linked with him, it was a bit more of a, another crap player. Anyway, moving on. More news about FIFA. And I'll tell you what, this is the last time I will report on anything to do with FIFA. Because as you know, I hate the organisation. Some woman, basically, who was involved with the Qatar bid for 2022 World Cup, she got sacked from her job with the bid team. Then she came out and said that they were taking bribes. They were offered £1.5 million to vote for them. And now she's turned around and said, oh no, I made everything up. I think that obviously she was either paid off or threatened. I mean, come on. FIFA, do you think we are that stupid? We all know you bribed people to get the Qatar World Cup 2022. Just come out and admit it and we'll all be happier. Anyway, I'm going to move on. So, Rugby League. Another fantastic weekend of Rugby League. It's getting closer to the playoff times. Only 6 more games to go. So, Castleford beat Bradford. Brilliant result for Castleford. Means they move up to 6th. Means they move away from that 9th place. I think they're now 5 points clear, which is great news. Catalan Dragons beat Leeds, and it's the opposite direction for Leeds. They moved down to 8th, and they're only 3 points off the 9th place, which isn't a playoff place. Warrington continued their fine run, beat Huddersfield, who were 3rd. That was the big game I was talking about, 28-16. Huddersfield are now basically going to have to fight for that top 4 place because 3, 4 and 5 are all very similar points. Wigan beat Harlequins as well, which basically means Warrington and Wigan are looking like they'll finish 1 and 2. Wigan are now top after beating Castleford last week. In the Formula 1, and it was the British Grand Prix, Alonso ended up winning this one. Bit of a dramatic sort of race, more so for controversy. McLaren looked poor though. Mistake in the pit lane cost Jenson Button his race. Pretty poor. Lewis Hamilton, his car didn't look very strong. He was always fighting for the place that he had. Managed to hold on to 4th, beating off Felipe Massa. But then the whole controversy was the Red Bulls. Basically, they started off really well. Track was half wet, half dry. Then basically Alonso started to come at them. His car just looked amazing. Caught them up, overtook them, fair enough, because of a pit mistake by Red Bull, but still he would have overtaken him anyway. He won the race by a fair bit, but then it was the Red Bull number 2 and number 3, Vettel and Webber. Webber caught up with Vettel and basically was told by his team to remain or retain the gap, which essentially they said don't overtake him. He's pissed off with that. He wants to be number 1, but I mean Vettel's winning by so much it doesn't really matter. Basically I want to mention Ferrari. They look strong. Their car is looking the best. Hopefully Alonso can pull off a few wins, put some pressure on Vettel, make the season a bit more exciting. On to the golf. Now the golf, folks, what a weekend. I've been talking obviously about the Scottish Open in Inverness, my hometown, golf caps on, and the first 2 days were brilliant. The pundits were saying what a tournament, lovely course, it was really nice to hear, but then all of a sudden on Saturday morning, thunder and lightning, torrential rain, more rain on Saturday than the average for July. So there was more rain in one day than there was for a month. So that completely washed out Saturday. Sunday they had to basically play 1 round instead of 2 rounds over the weekend, and Luke Donald came out and won with a superb 63. He had to finish off his second round on Sunday morning as well, which he finished on 4 under, so he absolutely coasted it. Colin Montgomery didn't qualify for the Open. He finished way down, said he just ran out of steam. He is getting old, but still, it's a shame. First time he's missed it since 1989, 21 years in a row. So it was a fantastic tournament. We've got obviously the John Deere Classic as well. I actually haven't checked who won that one, but to be honest, because I didn't have time and it wasn't really that much of a big tournament. But the winner is about the only thing that's of importance because he qualifies for the Open. So let's have a look. What else have we got? Cricket. England won the deciding one-day international. They beat Sri Lanka to take the series 3-2. 268 for 9 for England, and then basically bowled Sri Lanka out for 252. Fairly close, not too bad. No rest for them now. They think that's the Sri Lanka series over, but in 10 days' time they start the series against India, so no rest for those guys. Into the tennis, and it was the Davis Cup. Great Britain, or should I say Scotland? Well, it's not really Scotland, it's Andy Murray. He basically won the Davis Cup tie for them, winning a singles match and then the doubles match, and that takes them through to the next round. In the Rugby Union, the Super 15 final was on. I have to mention this match because it is of huge significance for Rugby Union. The Reds, who are from Queensland, played the Canterbury Crusaders. 2 things. 1, the Reds are full of Australian Rugby Union players, as in the international team. The Crusaders are full of All Blacks. So you might say that this game was Australia versus New Zealand. Now, when you've got the Rugby World Cup coming up just around the corner, this was a big game. So the Reds took the game 18-13. What a game it was as well. Very tight, very defensive, but the Reds came away with the points. Now, the second thing, what was I going to say? Yes, the Crusaders. Now, they basically didn't have a stadium because of the earthquake. So they've played every single game away from home this season, which is a huge feat. A lot of travelling. They must have been tired. If they get a rest, which they actually won't because the Tri-Nations are coming up, then you would think they would be strongest. But going to be good. Good result there. And that was essentially all the sport of the weekend, which I sadly missed, but not a problem. I'm back now and I'm going to watch all the other sport. So, thanks. So, as my sports review for the weekend went on quite a bit, I'll run through quickly what we've got coming up this week. Copa America, 2 huge games. Unfortunately, they're not on till 1:45 in the morning. Tonight and Wednesday night. Tonight is Argentina-Costa Rica, and Wednesday night is Brazil, Ecuador. Both teams have to win to progress. If you get a chance, watch them. UEFA Cup qualifying, like I said, my second favourite team, Dundee United, are playing. That's on Thursday night. They're away to Slask Wrocław, should I say, and that's at 3:45 in the afternoon. They're a Polish team, and that's Thursday. Watch out for that, should be good. Fulham are also in action in the Europa League qualifying. They're away to the Crusaders, who are a Northern Irish team that play in the Irish League. That's at 7:45 on Thursday. In the golf, and more golf. Got the golf hat on again, as I told you. Third major of the year. It is the biggest major, the biggest golfing tournament ever. I am going to enjoy, watch out for the 18 sign, I am going to enjoy the shit out of it. It's the Open Championship, and it's in Royal St George Golf Course, Sandwich in Kent. Gonna be a cracker, because can Rory McIlroy continue his good form? He just won the US Open. Can he go on and win this one and really be a superstar? Or will Luke Donald, the guy that just won the Scottish Open, the world #1, will he win this tournament? Or will it be somebody that nobody's ever heard of, or even an American? Americans have been doing so poor of late. They want to get some glory back, bring something back to the United States. They would love to win this tournament. It's going to be a beauty. Watch out for that. It's on all day on the BBC. And then finally I'll mention the snooker, which the PTT Snooker World Cup, where players are playing for their countries, a new thing that Barry Hearn, who's the chairman of the snooker board, has introduced. That's on in the mornings because it's over in Thailand, so keep an eye out for that. So just quickly user comments. Got a comment from Bum, and basically it was more like a let's quiz Magoo on sports trivia sort of thing rather than a comment. As you all know, you can't beat Magoo on sports trivia. So we'll ask the question. He basically wanted to know what animals, other than horses, have ever been used at the Olympics. That's an easy one. I was going to say something funny, but I better not. It was pigeons. As far as I'm aware, I think pigeons were used in real pigeon shooting back in the 1900 Olympics. As far as I'm aware, no other animals have been used unless they used flying pigs, but I don't think they have. Anyway, hope that answers your question. Any more trivia questions? Then certainly see if you can beat Magoo. That's a challenge. So folks, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go off and watch some sport and make sure that I'm in the full knowledge for Friday's show. Go off and enjoy your week, guys. Watch out for the golf. It's going to be a cracker. See you guys on Friday.